Hello friends, so today we are gonna do a practical on launching a web server on AWS infrastructure using a Terraform code. Okay, so before starting the coding part in Terraform, so we will first go on AWS, understand its services, that which services is doing a what part in AWS infrastructure. Okay, and also we are going to see some background of it. Okay, and so let's start. So AWS is providing services in different regions. So there are total 24 regions. I mean, there are total 24 countries they are providing services. Okay, I have a pic also. You can see here in Canada they are providing services, in Oregon, in Bahrain, in Cape Town. So they are providing the services in different regions in the country. And you can see here in availability zones are there. There are 3 availability zones are there. Okay, and this in Spain they are going to launch soon their services. They are coming soon. Okay, so let's talk with the availability zone. So availability zone means that they have created a data center. Means here our whole complete data is going to store. Okay, this is our region, means a virtual private cloud. Okay, this is black, which is black box. Inside this there are 3 availability zone. This I am saying in Mumbai. Okay, in India, Mumbai, there are 3 availability zone and 1 region in Mumbai. Okay, so they are far apart, very long distance they are away from each other. Okay, and inside this we launch our web server, we create our whole company infrastructure. So we create everything inside this only. Okay, so I hope you understand the design part of AWS that I have created. I have given just an overview. Okay, so let's start with the services part. Before services part, I'm gonna discuss something about the storage. Okay, so there are 3 types of storage that have. There is a block storage, object storage, and file storage. So for this practical, I'm gonna talk about the object and block storage. Okay, so why I'm gonna talk about, because this storage is going to give a clear idea that which services is using this storage and which services is using this storage. Okay, so block. Okay, block storage are divided into 2 parts: ephemeral and persistence. Okay, persistence means permanent and ephemeral means temporary in nature. Okay, I have given an example: C drive. Okay, C drive means as soon as your operating system fails, the whole complete data inside C drive is lost. You can't retrieve that data. That's why it is ephemeral in nature. Okay, and persistence means permanent. Like for example, if you have pen drive and you store the data and you attach data, means attach a pen drive on a system and copy some data and paste in a pen drive, and you can detach that pen drive and keep it safe here in your hand. Okay, in other side there is a object storage. And also I want to say that block storage is in a block storage you can do a partition. Means example, if we at the time of launching, you know that we have a drive around, example like a 500 GB hard drives is there, so we can divide that drive. Yes, so that is a block storage example. Okay, in object storage there are examples like Dropbox, Google Drive, S3 is the service of AWS. Okay, in object storage you can't do a partition. Means you can't do a partition of a drive, G drive, Google Drive, S3. So it is you can say it is a permanent when you create. You can't do a partition of it. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this is the complete infrastructure that we need to launch a web server. In real world, if you have a physical hardware or physical system, over there also we need all this thing on. Okay, so we need a hardware inside. Hardware means a hard disk, RAM, CPU. On top of a hardware we launch operating system. Okay, Windows, Linux, anything. Okay, on top of that we have network and firewall. Network for outside connectivity, firewall for to restrict someone if we want that particular client should access the web server, so we can restrict that from firewall. Okay, on top of that we launch our application, so we can launch our web server so that client can connect to this web server, and from this web server they can access this website and everything that you have created. Okay, and let's go ahead. So this all S3, EBS and Snapshot, these three are the services of AWS. So first talk about the EBS volume. EBS volume is a pen drive. It is a I told about that you can do a partition of it. Okay, it is like attaching that EBS volume to your instance. Your instance means your operating system, and attaching where you can attach that pen drive or EBS volume to your instance and copy your data in it and detach it when your work is done. Okay, and also I want to say that this EBS volume is, if you want to use this EBS volume in different regions, suppose you have created your operating system or instance in Mumbai region in any data center, and if you want that same instance, I want to launch another region, means in London, New York, anywhere. Okay, so if you copy that complete in what we can say code and everything, the coding part, images and everything which a web server needed in pen drive, but you can't transfer it from pen drive, this EBS volume. For this you have to use a snapshot. What snapshot do? Snapshot will do a snapshot, means suppose this volume or EBS volume is fulfilled with around 10 GB, so it will do a snapshot of 10 GB, and now you can send this snapshot to any region. Okay, so this is the use case of EBS and snapshot. Okay, what is S3? S3 is the permanent storage. You can do a permanent storage in S3, and AWS is giving a 5x 9% guarantee that your data won't lose if you store in S3. Okay, majority or typically we store data like image, video and PDF only, that which is static in nature, which is not going to change. Okay, like in code is not a static value that keep on changing, so keeping in S3 it is not very useful. Okay, so we can use that in EBS only. Okay, and let's come to the next part, that the CloudFront. CloudFront is also one service of AWS, which is giving the content delivery network. What is meant by that? Let's understand the working of it. CloudFront, how it work. So if you have seen that if you have launched your service in Mumbai, like for example, if you have launched your service in Mumbai, okay, so here the example is that so here if you have launched your service in Mumbai, okay, and your client is in London, Okay, so if your client want to access directly your web server, okay, your website, so if he connect directly to this web server, so there is a huge distance between client and server, so there might or there will be a possibility that client may face a latency, because some images, videos and all are coming, and they are coming and client page it's getting download means if you are seeing any picture, it's download, then you can only see that. Okay, so there can be a possibility, or there will be a possibility that client may face a latency. So CloudFront give the solution for it. What it's do, that AWS have launched a 250 plus edge location, means it has a small data center that we have seen previously. It launched a small data center. What it do, that when we launch a CloudFront from here, it create a 250 plus edge location which is connected to each others. All 250 plus edge locations are connected to each other. Okay, suppose if a client is here and he requests for a website, so first it will go to the edge location. Okay, and your edge location will check that is there anything inside my storage that client want. If not, then on behalf of client, edge location will go to EC2 instance, means on our operating system where Mumbai, and on a web server where our web server is running. And from here the complete data is going to copy in his data in his database. Here it's all cache, and from here it will provide it to the client. Okay, so by this the client will not face any latency. Okay, so mainly edge location contact to the S3. Okay, and S3 is connected to the EBS, means that EC2. From EBS only that EC2 launch, because from EBS you can do a partition. Without a partition like a drive, you can't create a EBS EC2. Okay, instance. So from EC2 the static data is stored in S3, and from S3 edge location get the data, and from here it give it to the client. Okay, so here is the high level working of CloudFront, and also S3 is coming to help it. Okay, so let's start to do a practical part. Okay, so I have created a folder, you can see here. Okay, so here different files are there. Okay, so our first agenda is, before building anything, okay, so first we will create a security. Okay, means firewall. Just for example, I'm saying that we have to create, but suppose we have to create a firewall on AWS. Okay, you can see here there is nothing that I have created, all are empty. Okay, you can see here there is any instance is not there. There is no volumes, you can see it's loading. Okay, no snapshot. Okay, no security group. Your security group is your firewall. Okay, and we are gonna create S3 also. There's no buckets are there. In S3 we store data in a buckets. That's why there's the name called bucket and CloudFront. I'm showing that because you come to know that there is nothing. Okay, and we are going to use a GitHub also, so I'm going to log into GitHub to show that what is there in my GitHub account. Okay, so this is the content or data which we are going to use for this practical. Very simple data is there, but you can create a huge application from this practical. Okay, so this is a code which I have written in HTML. It's a just simple code which will print hello world, welcome to automation. Okay, and we have one image, it's me. So this image is going to save in S3, and from S3 it's going to go to the CloudFront, means edge location. From edge location the client will receive that from edge location if client request or a hit on a web server. Okay, so let's understand the code part, what the code is. So security, so resource in the AWS, whatever we create like resource like security, if you want to create a security or key or to launch an instance or to create S3 buckets, that come under resource. Okay, so this is our resource, AWS security group. Okay, and this is a nickname, means you can give any name. I have given a firewall. Okay, and inside that I have given a display name. Okay, and here comes the ingress. Ingress means inbound, means here we are saying to that instance that give the permission to 80, port number 80 to come in, and port number 22 to come in. Means from outside, if someone is coming from port number 80 or requesting for port 22, then give him full access. Okay, in whichever IP, CIDR block is 00, from whichever IP it come, give him full access. Okay, so it's means of inbound. So now let's come to the egress part. So egress is means outbound, means if a client hit a web server of port 80, so egress will go and give that to the outside. Means if traffic is coming from outside to inside, we will use ingress, and if instance want to go out from instance, then you have to use egress, outbound. Okay, so let's come to the next part. Now we are gonna do a launching part of our instance. Okay, so here is the provider, means before doing any coding part, we have to tell the Terraform that this is your provider, and your provider name can be anything. Here in our case it is AWS. Here it can be a GCP, cloud, Google Cloud, or Azure, or Alibaba, anything. So this provider means these services which you gonna use, which cloud. Okay, and I've created a profile to log into this what you can say account. This account, for this account login, I have created a profile. Okay, I had already created a profile, and in which region your profile is there, so I have given a region. Okay, so here it is that you have to give to the Terraform that to log in into our AWS account. Okay, now let's come to the instance part, how we're gonna launch instance. So as I told, the resource, creating anything that comes under resource only. Okay, so we are gonna launch what? AWS instance, and what name you want to give, you can give your name. Okay, and AMI here, where.ami, here I have used variable. What is meant by that? Let's see. Okay, so I have a variable folder here, .tf. So variable means if you don't want to type a long word or anything, it's if I want to type this, keep on typing on this, so you can call this variable and you can write that, and that value gonna paste it here. Okay, so what's going on? Where.ami, so it's getting a value from here. I have given a variable name AMI. Okay, variable dot AMI. So what's the value of AMI? It's a default name, default value is here, it is. So this value is going to come here. Who gonna do this? Terraform will do this. Okay, in the same way we have an instance type. We have a T2 micro. Okay, same way. I'm just giving an example. You can do you can make tons of variables according to a use case. Okay, and key name means if you are launching an instance. So like for example, if you open if you are opening your system or your laptop, so you set a password, key name to it, like you have a root username, okay, and you have a password like Red Hat. So in our case, the name is Red Hat. Okay, key name is our Red Hat. Okay, security VPC, security group ID, from where it is coming. Okay, let's go to the security part. Here the security is, so which security we have to use? This security I want to use on this instance which I am creating. Okay, so I have given a value that create this security for this instance, means create firewall for this instance. So AWS security group dot firewall dot id, same name you can see here, AWS security group firewall dot id. That value is going to print here. Okay, so now the creation part done. Okay, now what we want to do inside this instance. So for that we have a keyword connection. Okay, so we want a connection in this instance for writing a code in it. To writing a code in instance we need a remote execute. Okay, and to writing a code in your local system we need a local execute. Okay, we're gonna see further. So here remote execute means you're gonna type that code on instance. How you can write? By SSH protocol. Without SSH you can't connect to instance because you are in local machine. Okay, so your type is SSH user. By default username here of instance is EC2-user. From which port number you have to connect, this is a port number, and private key. This is what a private key means. instance, I have told that this is a key name. So key name have the key, means username have the password. So this is the password of my instance, okay, that I have already created. Okay, and I will show you here the password it is. Okay, so for security purpose I can't show you full. So you can see here the private key. This key is going to help you to log in into your instance. Okay, so let's go to the instance part and host. So who is the host of this instance? So our host is here. Okay, AWS instance OS 1 public IP. Okay, so to writing a code in an instance, we use a provisioner, and inside that we use a remote executor, and we write a code. Okay, why we want to write a code? Because over there we have to launch our web server, but before launching we have to install the Apache web servers and all to run our application. Like here I have told you that we had done the hard disk, yes, and here application. So we have to first install this application, then only we can run our web server. So that part only I am saying. Here we are installing that HTTPD web server in this instance. Okay, and so I am going to install a Git. Why I am gonna install? Let's see ahead. So that is the part of launching our EC2 instance. Okay, so next part is EBS, means we need a pen drive connection to connect to it. Okay, so here it is. So EBS is EBS volume, you can assume it is a pen drive. Okay, it is a, I told you anything you want to create, it's come under resource, and we have given a name of pen drive to document storage. Means a key name, means for calling this EBS volume we need to write this name. Okay, and availability zone. Okay, now where you want to create this EBS volume. So AWS instance which we have created just now, not created, I just explained you here. There you can see here AWS instance OS 1. Here I want my EBS, that I am saying. Okay, what is the type of? It is a GP2 size, it is a 1 GB, and tag you can give your EBS volume name. Okay, and now the interesting part come to attach this EBS volume to this instance that I have told you. Here it is. We have to attach this EBS to this instance. Okay, so for attaching this instance, before that we have to give some names and all that. Yes, this is the storage and all that. Okay, so device name, what name you have to give, want to give this EBS, that you are giving. Okay, volume ID. Okay, instance ID, here it is, force detach true. Okay, so this all are requirement. Now our attachment part is done. Okay, attachment is done, but it is like you can't what you can say, You can't copy anything in it. You have to do a partition of it. After partitioning, you can do a copy of it. So for this, you have to do a partition of it. Okay. So we are attaching volume with instance folder. Okay. So now for that, you have to go inside the instance. Okay. So for going inside, we need a connection. Which connection? SSH connection. Okay. And here we are giving all requirement field, which I have discussed in last file also. In instance, here I have discussed that if you write any code in instance, you need these connections, SSH connection from local to remote. Why we need this connection? Because we want to mount or do a partition of this instance EBS, sorry, because this EBS is now attached. So for that, we have to go inside the instance to do a partition of it. Okay. So we are gonna write a code in it, or a code means a command for this. So for that, we are gonna use a remote execute, I told you, and in it we are formatting the EBS volume, and then we are mounting this with a var www html. This is a web server folder. By default, web server folder is here, means whatever is web code is going to come here, is going to copy, or means what you can say, a replica of that code here in EBS volume. Okay, that's why we are mounting it. Okay, sudo remove -rf means this is gonna remove everything, means if anything is there inside this folder, it's going to remove, then it is going to copy the data that are coming from GitHub. It might be possible that there is something inside it, and that may do a conflict between them. So before that, we are removing everything and then copying that and cloning. Clone means downloading from GitHub and saving it in a var.html. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part. Okay, so now you can see that from diagram, this here EBS we have created. Okay, we launch the instance. In it, we launch this. We have done the security part, network part also, that which server we want to connect to and all, everything. Okay. Okay, EBS done. Now we go to the S3 bucket. We're gonna create a bucket. So bucket is we are creating for static data. Okay, so as I told you, anything you want to create that come under resource only. So here I want to create a S3 bucket. Okay, and I have given a bucket name. This is a bucket name. Okay, and ACL means giving access to of a bucket. So I'm making it public. So if anyone get my bucket URL, they can access the content of it. Okay, you can make it private also by writing a private here. And here what we are going to do, as I told that for local executor you don't need a SSH. Okay, so we are directly using a provisional local execute, and we are writing a command to download a static data from GitHub. And this part I'm gonna explain you for afterward. So this is going to download it from GitHub in my local system, and here it will upload that image that we have seen in my GitHub account for on S3 bucket. Okay, so here a resource, again we are creating a resource, we are creating a file inside a bucket. Okay, and the file content type is image and the content format is JPEG. Okay, in which bucket you have to store? I have to store this in this bucket. Okay, I have given this ID. Okay, what name you want to give? I want to give this name. Okay, from where it is coming from? This is my local path I have given. Okay, and what access you want to give? You want to make it public or private? I want to give it public. Okay, now it will go and upload. And why I have created this? Because at the time of destroying everything from Terraform, so it will destroy my file from local system also. That's why I have given this. Okay, at the time of creation, this code is going to run. At the time of destroy, this code is going to run. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's move to the next part. S3 bucket is created. Now go to the CloudFront. Okay, so here again we are creating a CloudFront, so it's come under resource. So it's a name of a CloudFront and it's a calling name, and local S3 origin ID, and from where we have to take data that we are mentioning, domain name, origin ID. So from here we want to fetch a data. Okay, the same name that we have done. Okay, that we have created in bucket. You can see here. The AWS S3 bucket, AWS S3 bucket dot image bucket. This is calling that bucket. Okay, this is again the calling path in CloudFront. Okay, and this is giving access. Okay, and as I told you that everything that we have in edge location. Okay, I have shown you here edge location. They store in a cache. They store in a cache. Here they have a cache. Okay, so whenever client hit on a web server, they will see on a cache is there static data available which client is requested. If yes, then edge location will provide it from cache which to the client. Okay, so here the part come of cache. So in a cache, what allowance you have to give? So you have to delete, get, add. These are the allowance you have to give. Okay, and target origin. What is the target? So we have that everything is coming from S3 origin. Okay, and default time to leave means default time is 3600 seconds. These are in seconds, means at how much time this data is going to reside in a cache. These are the policy that we are settings. Okay, maximum time, these are in seconds. Okay, cache behavior with precedence. Okay, these are the default time. It's a 1 day. 1 day it's going to reside the data of S3 in cloud in an edge location cache. Okay, so here restriction means whitelist means you are giving a restriction that only US, CA, GB, these are the country short names that by default given. Suppose here I have to give a permission only to the US and India clients only, so they will get access of this data from to US and India only, US and India client only. Okay, environment, production and all are there. Connection, now what we have to do, that we have to add a code in our main file. Where our main file is? Our main file is here. Okay, which here. So here our main file. I have to add a code in this file. So for this code I have written. Okay, so for writing a code in instance, we need a connection. Why we need that code? Because that code is going to reside, that code file .html file is going to reside in an instance. That's why we are writing a code to add this image below that code. Okay, in code. Okay, here in below this line, here I have to create, here I have to copy this code line. For that we are doing this. Okay, so we are first connecting to the instance via SSH. Okay, then writing this code. So it is an image source from cloud, the data from cloud URL, the data is there, and data is coming from S3, and I have to store it. Okay, I have to store, where I have to store? I have to store in this folder, in this file. So this file is going, this code is going to add in this file. In where? End. Okay. Okay, so now the snapshot part remain. So snapshot is going to do a snapshot of EBS. So this is a simple code. You have to create a snapshot. So it's come under resource. So it's a name of a snapshot. No, it's a name of a snapshot. Okay, it's a keyword, and it's a volume ID, and here of which volume you have to create a snapshot. So I have to create a snapshot of this volume. Okay, you can see here. Here it is. This is the name, same name you are going to see here. Okay, AWS EBS volume, document storage, same name. Okay, and I have given a tag name to it. Okay, let's start with the coding part of coding part is done. So we are gonna run this all file. We're gonna run this file I've created. We're gonna run this file. Okay, and just by one click, the complete infrastructure is going to be created on AWS cloud. You can see the power of Terraform. You can create the infrastructure by going manually on AWS by GUI and create it, but it will consume your time, energy and all. So for that Terraform comes, and it's like automation, gives automation to your work. So you can see S3 bucket is created, security group is creating. Okay, everything is creation complete. So let's see that S3 bucket is created or not. It's a S3 only. Yeah, S3 only. You can see S3 bucket created. It has something. Yeah, you can see there's something in it. That image which I have shown you, that's it. It is. And so now it's doing a connection with EC2 instance. Okay, I think an instance is creating. Yeah, you can see here it's created. No, it's okay. I think it's created and okay. It's now doing a connection from local machine to remote machine via SSH protocol. Okay, so it's take time around 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes around. So you can see here it's connecting. And Terraform is very smart that they know that which file I have to run first and which file I have to run second. Okay, so you don't have to worry that I have to keep in sequence and all. Okay, so you can see created all commands are running. It's downloading and installing the required packages needed. So you can see EBS volume creating. EBS volume is creating. Volume attachment is going, means this volume. Okay, we can see here that EBS volume is created. You can see here this is 1 GB. This 10 GB is of instance. Okay, which we have launched. This 10 GB volume is of instance, and this 1 GB is a volume. Okay, now they are mounting that with a folder var/ww/html. Now they are creating a CloudFront, means they are creating 250 plus edge location. Okay, so it's going to take a time because they are creating that edge location everywhere in all the location. Let's check that snapshot created or not. You can see a snapshot also created of 1 GB. Okay, and also CloudFront is also forming, and they are going to show us that yes, it is forming. You can see in progress. Okay, just by one click it's happening. So it's taking time because it's creating 250 plus edge location across the globe wherever the service they are providing. Also check the security, that did they created security or not. Obviously they are created, because of that only they got SSH connection. Yes, you can see this one, Prakash Terraform firewall. This was created by Terraform. Guys, it's taking time because it's creating a 250 plus edge location. So it's going and also copying that data in every location, that one image. So it's connected, done. As you can see, automatically web server page opens. So this image is coming from edge location, and edge location is retrieving from S3. Okay, and this code is coming from EBS volume, means from our instance. Okay, so you can see here the complete infrastructure is created just by one click. So powerful it is. So now you can carry this file anywhere in the world and run this file, and the complete infrastructure is created for you. Okay, and just by one click also it going to destroy everything. You don't have to go manually on AWS account and terminate and destroy everything. Okay, so by one click you can destroy everything. Okay, let me show you. Okay, just by one click it's going to destroy everything. Okay, whatever Terraform created, that part is going to destroy. Okay, and you know that we have created 13 resources, as I can show you above, that we have created 13 resources. Okay, so powerful it is. It will do it very fast and quick. Manually, if you go and do everything that which we have done, it will consume your time, and so it is a one-time hard work to write a code in a Terraform in this way, which I have written. Okay, you can write a code in one single file also. Okay, and one below another. You can write code in one file also, but for understanding purpose I have a file, and remember that file extension is .tf. Okay, so it's doing a connection with AWS, and we're going to destroy. Okay, so that you can see that it's started. Okay, you can see destroying. Okay, so it's destroying the complete infrastructure step by step. And also from here we can see also, so refresh. You can see that one EBS is gone, that pen drive which we have created. Snapshot is destroyed. Let's check security group. Okay, it is there. So it's going to destroy that too. So it's destroying CloudFront first. It's taking time because there are total 250 plus cloud edge location we have created. So it's going to destroy everything just by one single go. Okay, and one more thing that I haven't told to you, that this file is not if first time if you are running, this file will be not there in your system. So for that, when you write a code and store in one file, like in Terra I am saving this all code, so you have to first initialize your file. Means it's going to download a plugins from Terraform website. Okay, and from that Terraform get the power to understand that yes, this is AWS and this is S3 and all. From plugin only Terraform gets the intelligence. Okay, so it's destroying because it's taking time, because there are 250 plus cloud front have created the edge locations. After this you can see that it is very fast and it's going to destroy it just by one click. Yes. And also I told you that in S3 bucket there is a command which I told that at the time of destroying, that command is going to run and that's going to destroy my local file, which is automation. You can see your automation file was there. Okay, automation folder, that is destroyed. Okay, this is automation came from GitHub, my GitHub account. So now you can see 13 resources destroyed. Let's check. You can see firewall is not there. Let's check the instance. Instance is terminated. You can see just by one click. So powerful. You can see no buckets are there in S3. Let's check the CloudFront. Nothing is there in CloudFront. So just by one click your complete infrastructure launched, created, and by just one click your complete infrastructure destroyed. So you can take this file anywhere in the world and do the practical like I have created this infrastructure. Okay, so guys, I'm in description I'm going to give my GitHub link, so you can use this file and do a practical. Okay, thank you for watching.